What's up? My name's Ty. I'm a logo and identity systems designer, and I just completed the 30 by 30 content challenge. Now, you're probably wondering, what is the 30 by 30 content challenge? Well, it's an entirely self-imposed challenge that I put on myself to put out 30 videos in 30 days. There's a little bit of an asterisk to that because I gave myself weekends off, and so it might have been like 32 days. I took a day off to not post. But other than that, I actually posted 30 videos in 30 days. And I want to talk about the results of the challenge, what I learned, what I improved on, review the goals that I set at the beginning of the challenge, and see kind of how I did. So, the goals that I set were to get comfortable just making content, first of all, to find my identity as a content creator, to find kind of my style and what I like to do, and then also just to improve at freestyle content. And to me, freestyle content it's not scripted. I might have bullet points or outlines, but it's not scripted. And I want to talk about how I did on each of these three things. So first of all, am I more comfortable at making content? Well, the issue that I posed in the first video of this series was that when I would go to record, I would tense up and it wouldn't really make sense, but like I would get really nervous hitting record and doing stuff like that. And now I do feel a lot more confident making content. I do feel a lot better at speaking, and I feel like I have improved, and I at least am more comfortable at making content. So I guess let's jump down to goal 3, which is to improve a little bit at freestyle content. Now, I watched my first video, and I wouldn't recommend you going back to watch it because it's pretty awful. But I do think that I can talk better than I did a month ago. Now, am I perfect or great at it? Heck no. Like, I still have so much to learn when it comes to structuring my thoughts and sharing what's on my mind and articulating it into words. But I do think it's better than it was a month ago. And so I can imagine that in a year, in 2 years, my freestyle speaking will be much better. So I'm pretty pleased with the improvement in that front. Now, the second one is to find my identity as a content creator. And so kind of what I mean by that is it's like, what type of content do I want to post? How do I make my videos and things like that? And I wouldn't say that I've like locked in on my identity as a content creator, but I do think that I have a direction that I want to go in. So first of all of my videos have been screen recorded like this, and that's probably going to continue, but I do think I'm going to make some extra additions, which is some type of overhead cam where I can show sketches and drawings of a notepad. So that way I can kind of think through logo design processes a little better, because drawing on a screen with a mouse isn't great. I do have a pen tablet, but I like pencil to paper, and so I'd like to film that and include that in videos. So that's going to be part of the identity going forward. Now, one thing that I do really like in terms of content creation is having a series of videos that I'm doing. So this is a 30 by 30 series, which is literally just make 30 videos in 30 days. And it allowed me to structure my thinking in a way that's like, okay, I have to make this type of video in this amount of time. Let me try and come up with ideas. And so even though there were a lot of times where it was like really, I was struggling to come up with an idea, because I had this as a series, I was able to think of something, and I kind of looked at what I previously made, and I tried to see if I can make a follow-up to it and stuff like that. So as a content creator, I really enjoy having a series because it makes coming up with ideas a whole lot easier. And I have an idea for a series that I'm going to do next. I will share that a little bit later. But here's a couple of the things that I tried. So first of all, one of the things that I did to try and improve, to get more comfortable and to improve my freestyle content, is I focused more on pre-production, and I pretty much scrapped post-production entirely. So what that means is I spent more time thinking about the idea, writing an outline, organizing my talking points, and then I would just record and try and follow those bullet points as closely as possible. usually what would happen is I would find that I forgot something in my bullet points, or it wasn't as organized as I thought it was, and so when I actually go to speak, I'm lost, and I start bumbling and talking and droning on. So that's an area where I can improve, but I also have seen improvement there as well. So focusing on pre-production has helped a lot. And then in post-production, all I've done is I've gone into Affinity. It has a feature where you can just cut out the silence. I pretty much cut out the silence and leave it at that. Sometimes I do multiple takes of a line, so I just cut out the multiple takes and I leave it pretty simple and stripped back. Now, what else have I done? There's a couple of formats. So again, on finding identity, there's a couple of formats that I've tried. One of them is like a presentation or a slideshow where I create an entire like slide deck, and usually it's to explain a graphic design topic or a design topic in general. And those are okay. It's a lot of pre-production, it's a lot of planning, but they usually go pretty smooth, and there's usually not any editing in those videos, which is nice. Another format that I've tried is simply trying to draw out or explain design topics. So explaining what a logo is, or explaining the golden ratio, things like that. Kind of sharing my opinion on the topic as well. And then another format that I tried is what I would call like fixing or redesigning a design. And honestly, in this category, there are some of my favorite videos that I've put out. And you know what? It's probably a lot more interesting to see inside my channel, so I can actually point to the videos that I'm talking about. So those are the three formats that I tried, like presentation, slideshow, fixing or redesigning, and explaining design topics. Now, the fixing or redesigning is one of my favorite styles. In fact, this video here is probably my personal favorite video that I've made in this entire series. And what I did is I took a poorly designed menu and I incorporated some identity techniques and branding techniques to make it and look like a much better, more cohesive menu. And this was my personal favorite video to create. It was so much fun, and I feel like it turned out really well, and that's pretty cool. Now, I do want to get into the YouTube analytics side of this challenge, because 30 videos in 30 days, that's kind of a lot of videos, right? And I want to share the analytics. I don't mind sharing most of this stuff because it's public. I mean, here we go. This has 1 dislike. My font video has 1 dislike. Okay, I think dislike should be public. Anyways, so analytics. First of all, I don't look at views as a viable metric. Some of these videos have, like this one literally has 3 views. I don't care. I do not care about views. Let's just start at the beginning here and at the 30 by 30 content challenge. So all of these videos, just looking at the view count, don't have a whole lot of views, but some of them actually do stand out. So the videos that typically get more views are the ones where I'm talking about a piece of software like Affinity or Blender. So in this video I talk about Affinity scripting, and so because it's talking about Affinity, it did get more views than average. There's another one that I talked about. Yeah, this one has the Blender logo on it, and it also almost has 200 views. And so those are the outliers, is the one where I kind of show a logo, and it seems like showing a Affinity logo or a Blender logo helps a little bit, but not all the time. This is actually my first time going through these metrics, so I'm just going to point out some stuff that is interesting to me. So first of all, we got almost 3,000 views and 73,000 impressions. Now the thing that's interesting about impressions, so I can't really find a good, accurate number for like the cost per impression. It kind of depends on industry and, you know, who you're advertising to and stuff. So this says maybe between 2 and 10. If I wanted to break it down into each individual impression, I'm probably just going to go based off of this AI overview, which is, let's just say 3 cents per impression. So if we assume 3 cents, we'll calculate for 3 cents, and then we'll calculate for like 0.002. So if this is 3 cents and I got 73,000 impressions, This would cost me $2,190 in advertising to reach the same amount of people. Now, if we do 0.002 cents per impression times that by 73,000, it would cost 146. So, I mean, it kind of depends. But a range from $146 to over $2,000 to reach this amount of people. That's what's interesting and great about YouTube is this was all for free. I just put out content and got this amount of impressions. Kind of interesting. Now, the most interesting metric to me is not the views, it's not the watch time, it's not the click-through rate, it's not the impressions. It's actually the subscriber count. I was averaging about 1 subscriber a day. This is probably like 1.1 something or whatever. Like, I was not expecting the subscriber count to go up as much as it did. So that's the most interesting thing to me, is that people are watching and subscribing. And so I went from, does it tell me here? It won't tell me, but basically like 340 subscribers to 373. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't ever ask for people to subscribe. Not once did I say subscribe. And yet people were still subscribing. And 30 is actually more than I thought I would get. Oh, look, there's confetti. This video just came out and it has 0 views and is somehow 1 out of 10. Oh, well, okay, that's sad. I don't want to show that. Anyways, the biggest goal and the point of this whole challenge is to get some content on my channel. I have a baseline of content on the channel, so now when people come to me, they see what I do, what I talk about. So going forward, here's what my plan is, and I probably should have written this out, but I didn't think to. So we'll do this. We'll do this together in real time. Wow, that's gonna be exciting, right? So going forward, I do have a couple of changes that I want to make. So the first thing that I want to do is spend more time on each video, because posting 1 video a day basically means I have 2 to 3 hours max to spend on a video, and it caused a lot of problems where I couldn't go into depth or I forgot things, and I think the video suffered for it. So I want to spend more time on each video. I want to put out at least 1 video a week. A concern is that now that I'm not doing daily posts, that I'm going to slow down and not be as consistent. So I'm hoping that I can continue posting a video, at least 1 video a week, and stay consistent there. And the next thing, this is the big thing. I talked about a series earlier, how I like doing a series. Well, next, I'm going to do a series on designing an identity system from scratch. I'm going to show the whole process. It's going to be in-depth. I'm going to just try and record everything and share it with you. I have overhead cam that I'm trying to set up. Right now it's not a good system, but we'll see if I can figure something out. Because I want to record my computer screen and I want to record my desk and get some behind the scenes, real world, like what I'm doing in the concepting and design phase. So the next series that I'm going to be doing is designing a whole identity system from scratch and showing everything that goes into it, from the logo to creating the logo, to creating the mock-ups, to picking the colors and then picking the typefaces and organizing the typography system and all this stuff. I plan on showing all of that in this identity system series. So I like having a series, and the 30 by 30 content challenge series is now over because I've done it. Why don't you go check out my favorite video in this series that I mentioned earlier, where I redesigned a menu. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and peace out.